3 points here today for either side could mean a lot, not just for United in their top four race, but also for Everton in their bid to survive the Premier League, and which is strange to say, honestly. But I do wonder, Jermaine, at this point in time, what would the atmosphere in Everton's dressing room be? Because they managed to come back against being a goal down against Burnley, only to lose that match, and for them to, having lost 10 out of the last 12 Premier League games. These are players that never expected to be in this position with Everton. I wonder what's going through their mind at the moment.
There's going to be a lot of pressure. There'll be lots of conversations being had within the dressing room with Frank Lampard, the manager, Seamus Coleman, the captain. They'll be talking to each other and trying to find where the leaders are, who the leaders are, and how they're going to get themselves out of this situation. Now, it's one of those old cliches that they're going to take every game as it comes, but that's exactly as they're going to do. They have to take every game as it comes, and it has to be the FA Cup final is today. The next game has got to be an FA Cup final. Every single one of these games coming from here until the end of the season has to be seen as the biggest game of the season. Now, from my perspective, looking at it, I always said, I want to be a leader. So regardless of if I'm going to fall out with one of the players that are in the changing rooms or not, I need to see the best of everybody that's in there. And at the moment, it doesn't look like there are many leaders in that dressing room, in that changing room. Nobody really seems to be taking the game by the scruff of the neck and leading everybody the way they need to. So I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen today. I hope we see a more improved performance. That Burnley game, as you touched on before, was very interesting. They managed to score a couple of goals, Everton, but 3 silly mistakes for the goals. Very easy defensively to get rid of those issues, those situations. But when you're down there and you're battling day by day, game by game, you seem to think that everything's against you when all it is a little bit more organisation to get rid of those little issues.
Why do you think they're making so many mistakes, Rennie? I mean, as a coach looking at this, if you look at the errors leading to opposition goals, they are far, far more for Everton compared to the other teams in the Premier League, and the red cards as well, being sent off 3 out of the last 4 Premier League games. Why do these mistakes keep happening?
That's a really good question. But what I think is very difficult for the situation, also for Frank Lampard coming in, because when you come in as a new manager, you've got ideas, you want to play in a certain way. Frank has got a history, play for Chelsea in a certain way, and you want to sort of stamp that identity of the team. But since he's come in, basically, it's not really gone for them, and they've sort of slapped down, the table closer to the relegation zone. So suddenly, it is not about implementing the right strategies of play; it's about survival. It's about fight. It's about winning your duels. And like you said, Michelle, rightly so, don't make those silly mistakes, because that is a typical aspect of teams that are down there, that making a lot of mistakes are self-inflicted. And yellow or red cards, you sometimes can discuss whether with Michael Keane, for instance, that was the case. But those stupid mistakes have to be taken out of their game at the moment. But it's more focus on, keep a clean sheet, stay in the game as long as we can, and fight. And sometimes, like I said before, I think this could be one of the games where Everton players could have to lift themselves together with the crowd to get a result. Because if they could get a result today, that could get them the momentum to get out of trouble.
Do you think Frank Lampard underestimated the work here at Everton, Rennie?
No, I don't think he's underestimated it, but like I said, he came into a very difficult scenario, because obviously they've had Benitez for quite a long time. He's had his own way and his approach, and in turn the style he wants to play and everything. Now there's coming a new manager in the middle of the season, and you actually need results straight away. And like I said, Frank, I'm 100% sure, wants to play football in a certain way. But if you're with it back against the wall, and Jay knows that, other things kick in rather than playing the nice, beautiful game. You have to win your battles. You have to don't concede from set pieces. You like I said, you have to, do everything basically not to concede, and then hope you take one of the chances that you're going to get yourself.
Look, we're not trying to really put the blame on Frank Lampard because, let's face it, I think this rot has started happening even well before Rafa Benitez, really. But do you think he also doesn't help himself in a sense, Jermaine, that he is so persistent in trying to play Everton in this high defensive line? They've been caught out at the back so many times. The red cards were a result of scrambling, trying to secure their own defence. Do you think he himself also didn't help the situation, Frank Lampard?
It's a difficult one to answer, because when you look at the players that Frank Lampard's got at his disposal, you look at Keane, you look at Holgate, you look at Godfrey at the back, the three centre-halves. They're missing Yerry Mina, who I'm not the biggest fan of him technically as a football player, but in terms of his leadership skills and leadership qualities, I think he's probably the only real leader they've got in centre-half position. So, and he's been out injured for a while. He's still currently out. I think he should be back within the next couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. But you look at the other players that they have in there, they don't have the same qualities that I feel that you need. They don't have the same composure that you need, the same leadership skills that you need from a centre-half. Like when I played for Everton, we had Phil Jagielka, we had Sylvain Distin, we had lots of these big centre-halves, leaders in the changing room. We had Phil Neville playing fullback, Leighton Baines, Tim Cahill. There's so many players there at the time that we had that were able to, make a rallying call and get everybody working together and fighting, regardless of who we're up against. This game today is a huge game, and it shouldn't be one that Everton players need to get themselves up for. It should be one that, they go into, they're looking forward to this game. They have to get something from this game. And I don't necessarily mean just a win. It's
just to show a bit more of a fight, I guess. Show a bit more of a fight here today.
Exactly. Just show a little bit of fight, a determination, a little bit more hunger. Keep it tight at the back. Let the defenders defend. Don't bomb forward all the time, and leave your attacking players to go forward. Now, we've seen the starting 11. Gordon, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, those three up top. Now, what I would say is they're three very creative players. They're three players that are full of energy, full of pace, full of... They've got opportunities to create chances, to create goals. Let those three go forward. Let Alex Iwobi tuck in just behind them, and the rest of the boys stay back, defend. Don't try and overlap. Don't try and go toe to toe with Manchester United, because that's only going to end one way. And it's going to be an embarrassing defeat if they don't keep it tight at the back.